One of the most disliked arena maps is what the community calls the double wall map. On this map, the teams are separated by 2 vertical walls, and each wall has 4 destructible blocks. The center battlefield is very narrow, which leaves the player with little to no room for error. There's also one annoying forest tile in the center that may cause some problems as well. I believe most players struggle with this map because they aren't starting off their first turns correctly, and that's fine because it does require a little bit of knowledge of how the enemy AI works. Let me share with you guys today my 2 methods or ways of overcoming this map. The first method is AI splitting, or splitting the AI. This requires basic AI manipulation knowledge, and I'll explain it with a couple clips. This enemy team doesn't have a good defensive team, but I'm still going to use the clip just to demonstrate the strat. This team that I'm using has PA Azura, Ephraim, Alphonse, and Anna. The enemy team has Zelgius, Brave Ike, FEHeroes, and Nawi. The strategy here is to avoid fighting in the center. Instead, I want to split the enemy team up, and when splitting, you want to try and bait the guys on the outside. I want Zelgius to go north, and I want the rest to go south. At long distance, the AI will always move towards that unit that they do the most damage to. With that being said, just from using the weapon triangle and simple math, I know that Zelgius will go after Azura, Ike goes after Ephraim, FEHeroes, and Nawi will go after Alphonse. Zelgius won't go towards Anna because she has more physical bulk than Azura. So I move Azura to the top side of the map to lure in Zelgius, and I move Ephraim, Anna, and Alphonse towards the bottom to lure in the other 3. I bait them one at a time until I eventually win. Here's another example of splitting the AI. I'm using the full Asker squad with FEHeroes, and this time the enemy has a better defensive team. Just from the weapon triangle, I know that Ike will go after Anna, Micaiah will go after Alphonse, Michaelis goes after Shouri, and not FEHeroes because FEHeroes is granted extra defense stats from attack defense bond and fortified defense. Soth doesn't have any weapon disadvantages, so you gotta do some math in order to find out who he wants to go after. In this case, he's trying to go after Alphonse because he's the slowest out of the 4. Soth can't double Anna or Shouri, and there's no way he'll attack FEHeroes because of her ice mirror. On this turn, I notice that if Micaiah goes down and follows Michaelis, then I might be put in a sticky situation. So I moved Alphonse back to the center of the map with the help from FEHeroes swap, and that made Micaiah and Soth run down the middle towards him. Now I can just move the proper counters in the right spots and eventually take them all out. The second strat or technique is AI prediction. It's basically positioning your units correctly to set up for the next turn in anticipation of the enemy's movement. Again, it requires some basic AI manipulation knowledge. You have to know the enemy AI movement order. Here's the general rule for enemy AI movement order. It goes melee units with no assist skill, ranged units with no assist skill, melee with assist skills, then ranged units with assist skills. This only applies if the enemy AI is not in attack range. Also, it gets a bit more complex when you take into account assist skills like dance, sing, rally skills, and other things like shortest travel distance and unit blocking, but this is the general rule for AI movement order for Arena. I'll try to explain some of it as we go through some of these clips. So my thought process for this fight is to take out Reinhardt as soon as possible. Once he's taken care of, then it's easy game. For this strat, we don't fight at the outskirts, we just fight in the center. The first turn is the most important turn. You want to make sure you position correctly so you can take out at least one enemy on turn 1. If you mess up, then you're probably going to lose. The only unit that I have that's able to kill Reinhardt on enemy phase is Dorcas, so I need to predict where Reinhardt will go. And from the clip, you can see that I predicted Reinhardt to go here, so I moved Dorcas here in order to bait Reinhardt on enemy phase, and I'll explain how I predicted that. Both FEHeroes have reposition, Reinhardt has reposition, and Lucina has Ardent Sacrifice. They all have assist skills, so the first two movement rules do not apply. The first units to move would be the melee units with assist skills. However, there's 3 units that fit into that category. It's the 2 FEHeroes and Lucina. Normally, the first FEHeroes would move first, then the second FEHeroes, Lucina, then Reinhardt. In this case, the second FEHeroes is going to move first and break the block in front of her because the first FEHeroes wants to move down, but she can't. This is called unit blocking. When an enemy unit is unit blocked, then their turn is skipped until there's an open spot in the direction that they are trying to move towards. So you can see that FEHeroes breaks the block, Reinhardt suicides. Right here, Lucina moves before FEHeroes number 1. I believe FEHeroes number 1 is supposed to move before Lucina because there's an open spot right underneath her, but the AI also takes into account something called shortest travel distance. Lucina is 5 spaces away from Dorcas while FEHeroes is 6 spaces from Dorcas, and since Lucina has the shortest travel distance, she moves before FEHeroes number 1. And as you can see, the movement order changes every turn based on everything I just mentioned. FEHeroes and Lucina has the same travel distance here. They're both 3 spaces, but if you can remember, that FEHeroes is in the first slot on the enemy team, so she has movement priority on this turn. The next clip here, I'm running the Asker squad again. This time I'm facing Red Reinhardt, Blue Reinhardt, Hector, and Arvis. The plan is to take out Blue Reinhardt first because he's going to reach my team before anyone else, and if I don't take him out in the first 2 turns, then he's going to be problematic. In order for me to take out Reinhardt in the first turn, I'll have to position my FEHeroes correctly to take him out on the first enemy phase. The correct formation will look something like this. But why? Well, we have to figure out the enemy AI order. According to the general rules, the order should be Red Reinhardt, Hector, Blue Reinhardt, then Arvis. However, Red Reinhardt's turn will be skipped because he's trying to go through the center to reach Anna, but he cannot because he's unit blocked. Therefore, Hector will take Red Reinhardt's place and act first. He'll break the block in front of him. This opens the path for Blue Reinhardt to be able to move to the center and be in attack range of this particular spot, which is why I placed FEHeroes there. If an enemy unit is able to attack, then that move takes priority over everything else besides rally type assist skills. With that being said, Blue Reinhardt acts second and suicides. Now we have an open spot here and Red Reinhardt is not unit blocked anymore, so he'll move third and Arvis will move last. With the main threat gone, the rest is easy work. These 2 strategies or techniques won't necessarily need to be used for every single wall map. It's definitely not needed if you have really good built enemy phase units. Use these techniques when you run into teams in Arena Assault that may be troublesome. For example, teams with multiple ranged cavalry units. Also, these basic AI manipulation techniques can be used for all maps in Arena, not just this one. Try practicing and predicting the enemy AI order in your next Arena match. I hope this video was helpful, especially for those that are new to the game, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving this video a like. I would highly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.